Good morning, everybody. My name is Andrei Cherny. I'm the CEO of Aspiration. And I was asked to come here and introduce this panel to give a little bit of context about the larger trends that are driving the growth of challenger banks like Aspiration and those of my peers that you're about to hear from. To take a step back, to take a step above, and talk about what's driving this transformation that we're all a part of. Fundamentally, I think that our opening comes from the single great challenge that we, as a financial industry, are facing. And it's not around costs. It's not fundamentally around innovation or distribution. It's around trust. The brutal fact is that 11% of Americans say they trust their financial institution. And if you're a financial industry executive, company large or small, incumbent, upstart, and you are not solving first and foremost for trust, then you're whistling past the graveyard. This distrust that we face is endemic, it's pervasive, it's bigger than any single institution, larger than the scandal of the day. It's driven fundamentally by the misalignment of interests that's at the heart of the modern day banking business model. In this day and age, and especially over the past generation, major financial institutions and big banks have become addicted to fees. Overdraft fees, ATM fees, monthly service fees, late fees. And Americans understand that what that means is that ultimately their bank does better when they do worse. And now, because of technology, people can do something about it. Somebody said to me fairly recently that all these challenger banks came up because of 2008 and the aftermath of the financial crisis. And certainly there's truth to that. But in my opinion, the bigger driver is not 2008, it's 2007 and the launch of the iPhone. Because what that means is that to be a competitive player on a national basis, you don't need a network of thousands of branches. You're able to open an account in this day and age at Bank of America, or Wells Fargo, or Chase, or Citi, or Aspiration, or Chime, or Bank Mobile, or on Credit Karma, or many other options directly on your phone. And each is just as easy as the other. And so what that means is that the nature of competition has changed. It used to be people chose their bank basically based on what branch was closest to them. Today, they choose based on what brand is closest to them. Which institution speaks most directly to them, to who they are, to their concerns, to how they see the world, whether they're living paycheck to paycheck, or whether they're a college student, or whether, as in the case of Aspiration, they're a conscience-driven consumer. And ultimately, what all these challenger banks are doing is reinventing the nature of what it means to be a community bank for a digital age. Not around community in a geographic sense, about the neighborhood or town that you live in, but the community of the people who share your values and share your worldview wherever they may be. And so that's our opening. That's what's driving this trend. I think ultimately what we're going to see is that the challenge presented by challenger banks is not a challenge to incumbents, but more broadly, it's a challenge to this industry and the way the financial industry does business. And the way to judge our success is not simply by our scale, but by the scale of the change we're able to bring. So thank you very much.